Let him know you the champion.
I'm in the translation now. Alhamdulillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious and most merciful. Alhamdulillah, alladhi anzala ala abdihi. Same book.
You already said that, right? Just say it in English.
Okay. Praise be to Allah, who hath sent to his servant the book, and hath allowed therein no crookedness. He hath made it straight and clear, in order that he may warn the godless of a terrible punishment from him, and that he may give glad tidings to the believers who work righteous deeds, that they shall have a goodly reward, wherein they shall remain forever. Further, then he may warn those also who say, Allah hath begotten a son. No knowledge had they of such a thing, nor had their fathers. It is a grievous thing that issues from their mouths as they say. What they say is nothing but falsehood. Who wouldest only perchance fret they so to death, following after them, and grief if they believe not in this message. That which is on the earth we have made, but as a glittering show for the earth, in order that we may test them as to which of them are the best in conduct. Verily, what is on earth, we shall make it but as dust and dry sewage, without growth or herbage, or those through reflection. That the companions of the cave and of the inscriptions were wonders among our signs. Behold, the youth betook themselves to the cave. They said, Our Lord, bestow on us mercy from themselves, and dispose of our fare for us in the right way. Then we drew a veil over their eyes, over their ears for a number of years in the cave, so that they hear not. Then we rose them in order to test which of them two parties was best at calculating the term of the years they had tarried. He related to the bears story in truth. They were youths who believed in their Lord, and we advanced them in guidance. We gave strength to their hearts. Behold, they stood up and said, Our Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth. Never shall we call upon any other God than him. If we did, we shall indeed have uttered an enormity. These our people had taken for worship gods other than him. Why do they not bring forward an authority, clear and convincing, for what they do? Who do more wrong than such as invent a falsehood against Allah? Surely Allah speaks the truth in her hand.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Seek protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the cursed shaitan. We start with the name of God, the most gracious and most merciful. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulil kareem. May praise and peace be upon His holy messenger, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. May the same praise and peace be upon all of his family and his companions. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Majlis Ash-Shura's Community Town Hall. This is our third one. My name is Yasir Uqda. I'll be the moderator or facilitator for this town hall, inshallah. And before we get into the meat and potatoes of the town hall, just want to do a few housekeeping things. Number one, we want to really appreciate Makkah Masjid for allowing us to do this here. So may Allah reward all the people who've been involved in this, keeping the lights on, the water running, and everything. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them immensely. And we also want to thank you for being here. Because there's other things people can do, other good things to do, and so you take your time out to sit here. So we appreciate that. There's a few, and we also want to thank Brother Green for the recitation and other young brothers for passing the paperwork out. The paperwork they passed out, one of them is the agenda for today's town hall. And as you see, when you scroll down, you see that we have Dr. Quaiser Abdullah from the director, or he is the director of Muslim engagement for the city of Philadelphia. And we also have Councilman Jeffery Jr, who is the councilman for this district right here. And so you'll also see the outside of the agenda a survey. You'll see a survey, so if you get a chance, if you can fill that out, that'd be great. I do have some pens we can pass out. Keep in mind this is being recorded. We want to thank Brother Alvin Carr, of course, for doing that as well. I'm going to get along with him. And so we also see on the back of the agenda a way to help out, of course, if you can, inshallah, some money for the Majlis Ash-Shura. And so let me give a quick disclaimer in that there's many opinions, of course, from brothers who will be up here. And so all the views expressed may not necessarily be the views of all of the Majlis Ash-Shura or all of its helpers or what have you. Just want to make sure that's clear. And I'll introduce all the brothers up here. Directly to my left, we have Imam Mutahadi. We have, right to my right, we have Imam Yusuf Jamaluddin of Masjid. We have, and he's also the vice emir or vice president of the Majlis Ash-Shura, Imam Yusuf. Then we have Imam Fareed Rasul, who is the president / emir of the Majlis Ash-Shura, representing Masjid down in Chester. Then right next to him, we have Imam Suchuddin, who is the Imam of Masjid Muhammad, and also runs one of the committees like civic engagement and so forth. And then next to him, we have Imam Bashir, representing, I'm scared. Imam Jerry, I didn't see you, I'm sorry. We have Imam Jerry also representing Masjid Ishaq and Masjid Muhammad, Imam Jerry Williford. He also handles the Eid committee of the Majlis Ash-Shura. And then right after him is Imam Bashir, representing Masjid Al-Hayyuddin, Imam Bashir Wong. And then we have, of course, one of the founders, additional founders of the Majlis Ash-Shura, Imam Isa Abdullah, who handles a few things within the Majlis, especially over the years. And then, of course, we got coming up Imam Yahya Abdul Latif, Masjid Hashur in North Philly. And we have, I don't see Dr. Leo for the Education Committee, but we have Brother Lutaki Thomas, raising his hand in the front, Lukufi, who's the Assistant Chair of the Education Committee. And we have Brother Rafiq Adiyat, he's Al-Fareed, who's the head of the Economic Development Committee of the Majlis Ash-Shura. So with that very brief intro, alhamdulillah, I'm going to ask Imam Fareed Rasul to give a few comments, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. La ilaha illallah. Wahdahu la sharika lah.
lalu ham yina wa yimi do kulu shay huwa kullu shay qadir la ilaha illallah wa la sharika lahu ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna muhammadan rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muslims, we thank you all for your participation and for coming out, and inshallah it reminds us of the effort that must go forward by those of us who are yet living and who yet remain, and those who are declaring their belief in Allah and they're living their life for His sake to be pleasing to Him. So we are here today because we're wanting to have a continued dialogue among the community that actually engages us in the work that needs to be done in our community. And there's a lot of conversation and communication and talk that's going on. It's always going on. At the same time, there is evidence of how much work needs to still be done on the ground. So, inshallah, we find that we're looking to hear from the community and allow you to hear from us in the ways of the things that you see that are going on and that we need to be aware of. At the same time, the things that we are aware of that we need to be working on together, that we need all of your help to be able to do. Because there's no success just in our conversation. There has to be some application. And a lot of the things that are taking place today that we see in the community, the needs that are there, and we see the condition of our youth, we see the condition of our families. There's a great need in the Muslim community that we have to actually address. And one of the things that will enable us to address it is for us to first of all acknowledge and be truthful to Allah, before Allah, that we are aware of these things and we know they need to be taken care of and we can do better than we've been doing. So inshallah, we pray that these efforts today and the communications among us will bring us closer to such application. Because faith without works is dead, and when you hear in the Quran, Allah always reminds us, He keeps saying, those who have faith, who believe and have faith and do the righteous deeds. So we have to be those that continue to find out how do we engage ourselves more in the righteous deeds. Because we have many people that have the look of the Muslim, yet still we don't have the dab and the mannerism of him or her. At the same time, when we are showing the community that we are so prevalent and present in the environment, yet still our substance is, as the Prophet Muhammad said, that there's going to be a day and time that comes and the non-believers will trample upon the Muslims like a wild pack of wolves trample upon a plate of meat. And so the Sahabas, they said, well, why would that be? Because we're going to be less in number? He said, no, quite the contrary. We're going to be the greater in number, but the substance of us will be like the foam when the water comes to the shore and goes back out and the bubbles that it leaves. He said that would be our substance, like those bubbles in the water. And he said, well, why would that be? He said, because they would have fallen in love with the dunya and they would have become afraid to die. And so when we look at the reality that we're dealing with, we see that even though we have so many thousands and millions of Muslims, the conditions of us are still subject to our substance. And that's why we can see what's going on in Gaza, we can see what's going on all across the earth, across the globe, is being done to Muslims. And you don't hear any real response, except for some whisper of a conversation of somebody having some concern. But as far as anything being done to say, this has got to stop, this must be done, and we're going to make sure we be the ones to stop it, there's no voice like that. There's no voice like that. And why? Because the one who does step up has to be willing to die. And the one that's willing to die has to be one that has disconnected himself from the material world to the point that he can realize that there's something greater than what he has here that he's striving for here. Because most of the things we're striving for here, none of us will take it with us. We can't take it with us. So we make our full investment into something that can't go with us. At the same time, we exhaust the breath that Allah gives us doing things that really don't actually equate to that that's pleasing to Allah. So we have to become those to see how do we turn that around. How do we turn that around and our substance becomes that actually has some serious meaning, and we see that it can be an impact on the whole humanity, the whole ummah. Because the Prophet Muhammad said to us, and he said to his Sahabas, He told the Sahabas, there's a people who are coming that are going to love me like you love me. He said, they're very dear to me. He said, they're going to love me like you love me. The only difference is they will never have seen me. And so you and I had the chance to be those people, that generation that came along later on, never seen the Prophet of Islam, but being more dear to him, being dear to him just like the Sahabas were with him. And therefore having the kind of substance and the benefit that comes with that. So what we see now with the murders that's going on, so many murders going on, Muslims killing Muslims, male and female involved, that our youth, they're our children, our grandchildren, our uncles, our nephews, our nieces, our little cousins, our little brothers. We're looking at all of them involved, and all this is going on. And yet still, we are standing back as though we're scared to go forward. To the point that the conversation among us ends up being, hey man, I'm not messing with them young bucks, man. They crazy, man. I ain't going between them guns. Well, if you don't go in between them, who's going in between them? And you didn't say that when you had a gun. You didn't say that when you had a knife. You didn't say that when you was out there fighting. So, you know, it's like the reality is that we have to, first of all, say a word directed to the right and speak the truth leaders against ourselves. So much of what's going on is really just what we were a part of is now on steroids. So if you were in Philadelphia, and I was in Chester, and I used to come to Philadelphia, and I know that you all had gangs, so we used to be concerned about your gangs. We come up to Philadelphia shopping, and we go to South Street and all that kind of stuff, get our stuff, and you be like, worried, you gotta worry about the bulls from South Philly jumping you to take your stuff that you just bought and all that kind of stuff. Y'all had gangs, we had gangs. Y'all was up here fighting, we was down there fighting. And so we had people that got stabbed, we had people that got shot. So where did it come from? It didn't just come by osmosis. So they're following the continuation of something that we established, and then by Allah's mercy, He gave us Islam. And Islam affected our hearts, and we changed. And so that same message was not just for us, it was for the whole humanity. It's for the whole humanity. But the difference was that somebody was trying to reach us with the message. And you and I that took the message and hijacked like it for us alone. This message is for the whole humanity, not just for us alone. And that family members that we're not touching is because they're not seeing in us what they want to be. And many times they look at us and they say, we ain't even real. Joker, you say all that, but you ain't real. You a fraud. And I don't even want to mess with you. And so we have to see how we come to some dialogue that makes a difference. Because even in the exchange we just had, with the experience that just happened at the Eid celebration, and there were shootings. And some Muslims got injured, some people got injured in the process. But have we really had the real conversation about that? It's really sad if you have to say that you have to tell the police that they're your protection, when we are the protectors of the women and children. The Muslim men are the protectors. So it's sad when we got to see a day when we call them in and say, please help us with our situation, like we can't step to it ourselves. And so therefore, we have some serious conversations that have to be had, and at the same time, we haven't really had them because we haven't put ourselves in a position to bring ourselves forward and say, I'm available, I'm here, I'm showing up, I'm on call, I'm on duty, just give me my instructions. So inshallah, we will see that how we can bring ourselves to rise to that occasion, that responsibility, and then at that time we'll be able to really address our youth that's out there and address the conditions they have and bring them into a point of production, that they can be productive citizens that are making money, taking care of their families, raising families, and growing in a way that's pleasing to Allah. And inshallah, Allah will make us successful in doing that. So I pray that it comes out of our dialogue. Assalamu alaikum.
Shukran for that, man. We also have a newsletter that we do on a monthly basis, an e-newsletter. The sign up for an email address and your phone number, and your name is out in the lobby area or foyer area. So inshallah, this is an open format style, inshallah. So it's not like really a specific topic as you see here. We have like foster care / adoption, violence, as the man was talking about, community, as we talking about, youth Islamic awareness, poverty, politics, education, security, spirituality, etc. And so we're going to immediately open up to any questions, comments, concerns to the public. If anyone has some kind of question, comment, or other real quick, other than you, ma'am. Do we have anybody? Yes, brother. Can you just speak up as much as you can, please?
Take the mic to him.
I noticed when I come to Jumu'ah service here at Makkah, a lot of the brothers don't know the etiquette of Jumu'ah. I mean, they be on their phone, they be getting up, walking to the bookshelf. I mean, it be so many distractions, they act like they don't know their own religion. And it be older guys. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find out what to do with that because there's no classes, you know, after Jumu'ah. There's no classes on the weekend or anything here. And I'm in this area. This is my Masjid where I come to. But we need some help with these brothers because it's getting to be real irritating for to come into Jumu'ah and the guy don't know the etiquettes of Jumu'ah.
Now, Shura, the etiquettes of Jumu'ah, for those who didn't hear, you want to respond quick and I can get a response to that?
I'm asking, I address that question?
Yes, yes, sir.
I'm Shaq Sharif, Abdullah Lane, and the brothers don't know. So this is what it is between. We haven't asked Almighty God for October for dropping the ball with our youth, and this is one of the things that's plaguing our community. We haven't asked Allah to forgive us. Our leaders haven't done it. We're torn up against each other. Each leader is, I don't like this one because he did this. I don't like this brother because he married a sister I wanted to marry years ago. I don't like this one because they this one. I don't like this one because he want to touch her feet. I don't want to like this one because he Arab. I don't like this one because he's somebody else. We are torn up against each other. So this is why they don't think that we're real. The brothers, they don't know because they don't come in, they don't do Jola no more. This was a thing that Imam Yahya can tell you that we used to do in the past. We used to go around each other and see about the sick. Really genuinely, from city to city, state to state. We don't do that no more. Right now, the leaders from all the Masjids should be here. But what we're torn up against each other. So this is why we have no unity. And the leaders from the so-called Salaf and everywhere else, they should be here too. But all they're here, this is the Majlis Ash-Shura for Delaware Valley. Not just Chester, not just Philadelphia. Jersey should be here. Delaware should be here. Along with Philadelphia and all the other places that they have this problem is, the word I'm looking for, is pervasive, you know, throughout all the communities. And if we can't show them nothing, and we not unified, and it first starts with us. It starts with our house. It starts with us first. It starts with, brother, you know, Assalamu alaikum, man. I want to talk to you after doing. This is what we used to do. You know, what you did, brother, you know, that wasn't cool because, you know, that's distracting, you know what I'm saying, like that. And we show etiquette amongst each other. The Sahabas, radiallahu anhu, they studied 13 years before they went around each other just giving dawah. We haven't done that yet because we haven't showed no true brotherhood amongst each other. So we continue to see the things that's happening that's pervasive. And
okay, yes, only. Yeah, exactly. So what the brother saying is exactly right. So he's definitely correct. And so we just got to get better. You know what I mean? So we haven't asked for forgiveness. You know what I mean? We did drop the ball, but we got to pick the ball back up. And it's so important, I think, when we started off, to have that young man up here doing a recitation. Right? We even see that we have youth amongst us, you know what I mean, that can recite the Quran. You know what I mean? So it's a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second thing I want to say is that I'm so glad those sisters came from behind that curtain. Right? For real. That's why we keep on hiding them. And we keep on keeping them in the background. We keep telling them to be quiet and shut up and not make their contribution, the great contribution that they have. Right? Because this is the Majlis Ash-Shura. And this thing is done by mutual consultation. The young people, the women, the men, right? Everybody has to be involved in this. And if we don't get this thing together soon, we're going to be extinct. Right? We're not even going to exist no more. People not even going to know that we were here. We sitting down here in Masjid, Makkah. This is where a lot of us started at. Right? Headquarters. Down here, 1319 Susquehanna Avenue. This is our school, our Masjid, everything else. And so I'm just glad we're here today so that we get a reminder, right, of where we come from and where we need to go. And we have 450,000 Muslims in this city. And it's time to galvanize them. Right? It's time to take this whole city over. So, you know, we dropped the ball, you know, we apologize, but again, we're here today to take this show on the road, to invite all the believers back to the Majlis Ash-Shura, to invite you back to come and help us, come and assist us. And just as the brother said, Jersey should be here, everybody should be here. The man just texted me from Atlantic City. He's on his way here right now, right? So we invite all those imams to come and be with us, to come and sit with us. But more so, we invite you, the public, the community, our brothers and sisters, to join back up with this Muslim community so that we can turn this thing around. We owe it to our young people, we owe it to ourselves, and we owe it to each other. So we can do it. That's why we're here today. God bless you all.
Good brother, you got your hand up?
I see other people, other nationalities, one issue over there in Palestine, right? I see other universities, children at the university.
Make sure everybody can hear you.
Yeah, they're going to give you a mic.
Yeah, I have a question. My question, I look at the news and I see people from all the universities and whatnot, and they're taking a stand on the issues that are happening over there in Palestine. Some of them even sacrificing their career and whatnot. And then we see this. And then I see people, this Tuesday just passed, where the Jewish community, and they marched from Broad Street to Rittenhouse Square. And they was even saying themselves that enough is enough, and they're against what's going down in Palestine. My question is to this community, where do we stand? Why haven't we said anything? I'm not talking about a march or nothing like that, but I'm talking about why can't we call the news people and make a statement how we feel towards this situation? Because we say that we want for our brother what we want for ourselves. We believe that Allah says that if nothing can happen to me unless it be the will of Allah. So what is the problem? Are you afraid to die? You think you're going to die? Are you comfortable? You're sitting in your nice house and driving in nice cars and everything and eating 3 times a day? With people over there, children, you got to look at the news, all the children that got killed, all the babies that got killed over there, women and whatnot. And it's not just a Muslim, they are human beings. What about the human beings, the ones that's not Muslims? And we don't have nothing to say? And what this religion supposed to be? We're supposed to be an action. Action, when I was in the nation, action, we don't just talk. We do things, right? We ain't did nothing. We ain't doing nothing. We ain't said nothing. So what are we going to do? All right, peace.
Yes, only thing I want to say about that, and our brother is exactly correct, right? The problem is though, right, and I pray for the people and the children of Gaza every day, 10 times a day. We mention it in the Juma and everything else. I think the real problem is that we here in the city of Philadelphia, we have our own Gaza, right? We in Gaza ourselves, being murdered, people standing in line trying to get food in these lines and everything every day, all around North Philly, all around Germantown, right? Our children are being murdered in the middle of the street. Our children can't read, our children can't write, they can't add, right? They're frustrated, they're mad, they're shooting up their Eads and everything else. This is Gaza. So no disrespect to you, believe me, I pray for them 10 times a day, wallahi, myself. I mentioned it in Juma and everything else, but we can't forget our Gaza. right? Me and guys are right here. We're gonna say something, let's say something about our own condition. That's what we need to do. We need to talk about what's happening with us. That's how we're doing.
So also, to your point, we have made some statements in conjunction with other people that made statements regarding Gaza from the very beginning in the press conference that they've had. So we've been a part of that, as the Masjid has been a part of the greater community, having done that. So at the same time, as like it's being said, that is our concern relative to the hurt we feel. If one part of the body aches, the whole body aches. But at the same time, as being said, we have an ache right here in our own household, in our own community, that the rest of the world hasn't made any acknowledgement of. And so, when we meet Allah, we're going to be charged with what was in front of us, what was in our hands to do. So what about that that's in front of us? What are we going to do with that? And so that's why we're trying to figure out how to bring the focus. And like what the brother said earlier, the evidence is there about our weakness because of our separation. And that's the effort we got to make in bringing ourselves back together as one body, because we're really working together. And we're trying to actually invite all the leaders to become a part of that dialogue, because if we don't have to dialogue with one another, then we can't have the concern and the conviction to be able to make a difference together. So that we want even the communities, so the pressure can actually come from the body, from the brotherhood, that makes the leaders actually get involved, and so we can actually lay out some plans and we can make a difference, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I just actually spoke to the student body of Drexel University regarding to the protest they are holding. On Thursday night, they have told me they were going to protest in Willie Camp outside of Drexel University. I just got an email from John Brock, the president of Drexel University campus. He's allowing the encampment to occur as long as there is no violence towards anybody, both passerbys and by the protesters, and that also there will be no vandalism on Drexel University campus. He's allowing it to occur as long as that this display of making sure there's no anti-Semitism and there's no Islamophobia. And this was an internal email that was sent out to the Alumni Association, who are heavily involved and also participating in the protest. As a Drexel University alumni, I support the students as well as the international students, which is my community. The international community doesn't have the issues that we have here in America. Their issue is broader. They're afraid to go home because they might actually be deported because of their stance on Gaza. That's the issue that I'm facing right now with my community. There's a lot of things that goes on in the immigrant community that's totally different than what we have in the regular American community as well. Yes, we still have the education problem we have that's combined together, but also from their standpoint is that they also are afraid of deportation. Both administrations, this previous administration, had demonstrated that they are willing to deport my people back to their country. That's the issue that they're facing, and they're willing to risk their lives in doing that because they stand up with their governments for Palestine. UN voted over 144 countries, and majority of them are from Asia, Africa, and South America who voted for the freedom of the Palestinian people. And those are the people that I represent.
What Imam Suchuddin said is very much correct, that we have our own God here. But I want to address the brother directly because he has a direct question. He said, what did we do? How come we didn't speak up? And I agree with you, brother. I agree with you. I was appalled that we allowed City Council to pass a resolution that they passed standing with Israel. Okay, I was appalled that they co-signed genocide. I was appalled to see the now mayor, Sherelle Parker, holding up her sign proudly saying that she stands with these genocidal maniacs. I was appalled that we were more outraged. So I agree with you. I think we were delinquent. I'm embarrassed that we were delinquent, and I hope we can do better, inshallah, in the future.
No, pass it to me, brother. Hold on real quick, brother. Hold on, real quick. Pass it to me, please.
Sister back there in the back too.
Yes. So who was the first one to hand up over here? Sister, can you say something, please?
Let's just say it's an honor to be here, and I was here at 17 years old, and to walk back here again, alhamdulillah, and to be here for this forum. Praise be to Allah. It's good to see us here, and somewhere where I started at 17, 18 years old. And we were just talking about how did they get me to come into a place and give my life to God at 18 years old? Because they had structure. They had something for me to do. They told me about God and that God would bless me if I do the right thing. So we have to go back to the basics. And I like to first of all commend Imam Sujadeen, because one thing that I seen about 2 weeks ago on the internet, it said, Brothers New Shahada class. I was like, I never saw that before. I've seen Brothers Unity Day or Brothers Together, but I had never saw a Masjid say, we are having Brothers New Shahada class. And that's the basics. You can't expect for these young brothers and sisters to take Shahada and we not give them the deen, because they want to give it to themselves. And that's what they're doing. I got great nieces and nephews. I see them in groups studying by themselves, and I try to ease myself in there and try to give them a little bit of the middle or a little bit of seasonal information, but they're doing it with you or without you. So why not do it with you? And so as the brother was saying, we need to make sure, if you have an idea, and Allah Ta'ala gives you the passion, it's up to you to make something happen. So if Allah give me a dream, I'm not going to go to the masjid and say, Imam Fareed, I got a dream. Allah gave me a dream. You know what he should say? Well, sister, do it. Because if Allah puts something on your heart, a passion on your heart, it's up to you to do it. So if you have a thought or a vision that comes from Allah, let's execute our vision and not be afraid to execute. And just like the brother say, are you afraid to die? None of these sisters, all these sisters will die for their children. And being with Mothers in Charge, a Christian organization, we have marched, we will continue to march, we will go into the prisons, we will talk to the men, we will talk to the women, and that's what we do. Because we have to talk about it to be about it. We have to make change within ourselves, because Allah says He will not change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves.
Shukran, Sister Rahima. Was a brother up front raising their hand up? And then a brother right here again.
Assalamu alaikum.
Speak up. Excuse me?
That's you?
Yeah, let him go about this. From our part.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nidal Mukmasi. This is my first time joining you. I want to thank Imam Yusuf, my dear friend and Sheikh. Shukran, Sheikh Yusuf, for introducing me to Imam Fareed. I just learned that Imam Fareed is the Amir. And I'm sorry to say, I told you, Sheikh Yusuf, I warned you I'm a troublemaker. So this thing should not be today in 2024. I should have known the Amir as soon as he becomes an Amir. Now I'm looking at Majlis Ash-Shura of Philadelphia. I'm sorry. Last post, July 28, 2021. I Googled on Facebook, I searched, Facebook, Imam Farid Rasul name, and I did not find it. So my question is, or what I'm talking about here is social media. As you see, the amount here of the people that we have here definitely does not represent 1 over 10,000 of the people that we have here that should be here. That's one thing. Social media, Instagram and Facebook, please. The second thing I want to talk about this is asking you sincerely, please study Masjid al-Madina model. They have a paid membership. I want to be part of this organization. I want to be a paying member that gets informed and one day maybe have a say in the election of the board. You know, a paying membership meaning involvement, more involvement. If you take $15 a month from 1,000 people, you have $15,000 a month coming in. Am I right or wrong? You can do a lot. You can advertise more about meetings like this. Because I happen to be passing by Abu Dhabi and I saw the post. Otherwise, I would not even know that we have a meeting here. Shukran.
Just I want to say something real quick before you have Yusuf responds to. You're right, of course, about social media. There's no question about that. The Majlis does have a presence on social media, on multiple social media sites. I think he was looking at, when I glanced over, a different Majlis Ash-Shura's, and it's ours, but that was another one, if I'm not mistaken. And so that's another thing we're working on. Two, the newsletter that we do, that's been going around for like a year and a half. One of the issues we clearly have in the Muslim community, as we mentioned a little earlier, is the fragmentation. So we're kind of working in silos. So the Majlis Ash-Shura is trying to break those silos, or at least, not only say infiltrate, but get involved in all those different silos. Because this community's doing this community's doing that, and it just gets a little confusing. And so if you don't know this thing, you don't know what's going on here, and it just gets a little confusing. But the social media presence is no question, and we're working on that, inshallah, as we need additional.
Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, shukran for your presence here today. I just want to do a brief overhead. We came out with the idea to do these town halls because every Friday when you come to Jummah, the imams is talking to you, they're giving you directions, but you don't have any opportunity to say anything or do anything. Unless you're like a member in that masjid and you know the imam personally. This is an effort. These town halls that we're having, please, it's an effort for us to give the power back to the people. We want your involvement. We want your feedback. We're going to move town hall. You see all the room in this masjid? See all the room? We can fill this place. We're trying to get back there. We can't do it without you. The town hall is just the first effort to bring us together, to get us to dialogue and talk, and then to make some organized movement. Nothing can be done without organization. So we organized the town hall. We're just getting started. We need one goal. We need one aim. We need one everything. We got to be together as one, and then we can do it. And lastly, I just want to say this. Everybody has to ask themselves the most important questions. What can I do as an individual? What can I do as a leader? And what can I do as a community? Because I'm going to tell you something. All the problems that we have, we can help each other. Brothers say somebody don't know the mannerisms of the masjid. You know what? We can teach the manners, the etiquettes of the masjid. And it don't have to be a town hall. It don't have to be a community meeting. It could be after the salat. Ask yourself these important questions. What can you do as an individual? What can you do as a leadership? Because everybody has leadership. they got a mayor, the country, everybody got a leadership. Ask yourself, what can you do, individual, leader, and then community, and we can bring this thing all together. We're going to keep having these town halls, and we trying to get everybody to come back together. We're Muslim. We're supposed to outdo everybody. That's what the Quran said. Grace for the forgiveness of your Lord and bring everybody together.
Let me get to this brother right here with the red and black flannel.
I want to correct my tool about that. Why do we?
Like so.
I would like I would like to make positive reinforcement with what everybody said. I like cookies and stuff like that because they taste good. Now, I'm surmising now. I'm surmising that everybody likes something that tastes good. What about the human being? Usually, I don't put that much into what people say. I buy them. I taste them. You have three flavors. You have the sweetheart, you have the bitter sweetheart, and you have the heart that is sour. And I also represent a unit called the TCB North Philadelphia Freedom Fighters. We're going through the schools, and like the children, we taste each other. And we communicate. Because I've heard the old heads say, I don't mess with young ones and stuff like that because they don't do whatever. But this is because we have nothing like to say to them. When I was younger, hanging around corners like 21st and Ours and Susquehanna Avenue, all my old heads were older members of the gang. And now that they call me old head, I understand it's a salutation of dismissal. They're saying something that they don't want to grow up into. I don't want to be like that guy. You know what I mean? We used to have curbside footballs. I used to hear Assalamu Alaikum 2 blocks away. When brothers were like glad to see each other. And you can't like me if I don't give you nothing to like. They asked me, what Masjid do you go to? Like I'm going to Burke's Bar. You know what I mean? And the Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala says like his ummah is one. So, I know what my assignment is. And I'm a servant to all humanity. All humanity. You know, the message is not just for the Muslim, it's for all humanity. But I can't give it if they don't like me. We have to give them something. Like to like. I'll give a smile. It could be a small charity. And we bring them in. Or if we can't bring them in, we go to them. And when it tastes good, y'all know what I'm talking about. Everybody a bite.
Church members invite us. A lot of church members tell me come to the church. Get some detergent. Like cookies.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to thank our imams, brothers and sisters who Muslim community, the resources that we have, both the human resources and the economic resources. And we are a sleeping giant that just need to put the pieces of the puzzle together so we can wake up, stand up, and do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has agreed for us to do. We have all of the potential. The brother was talking about the MSAs, very effective young people, driven, who I think networking with the Majlis Ash-Shura would be phenomenal, because a lot of these kids are tech savvy, you know, they have ideas and dreams, but they don't think the older leaders want to, you know, utilize them. And I think there's a disconnect in communication, you know, and we just need to kind of have more of these, bring some of those students in, right? Because they have energy. A lot of us get older. You know, we need to be thinking about how we can network with them and pass the torch. And work together, not in an adversarial way, but in a united way, where we can work together. And I would say I've been watching Imam Fareed for a long time. You know, he's been on this battlefield for a long time for this community. As have all the imams up here, and all of the elders and leaders in our community. So I want to thank y'all for that. I don't think y'all get y'all flowers. You know, y'all get a lot of criticism, but y'all deserve a lot of appreciation. I'm doing that. So the other thing I want to say is that I've been networking with a group of brothers. Brother Salim Ali, Brother Basir, Imam Yahya, put together an economic development plan for the Muslims. Because I think the economics is the engine, you know, that help us, you know, move forward. And inshallah ta'ala, in 90 days, we want to present a plan, you know, along with, inshallah, the funding and the resources connected to help us move these efforts forward. And the final thing I would like to say is that I would like to see a schedule of these town hall meetings, whether it's going to be monthly, we can have working groups bi-weekly, where we can meet up and have the meeting before the meeting, so we can start, you know, moving some of these initiatives forward.
I want to say real quick before you have Sister Sharifa and Imam Nisigo, that's actually a point. The Majlis website, you can always go to phillymajlis.com, PHILLYMAJLIS. We have a lot of that stuff on there, but to your point, the actual schedule, we didn't do yet for the town halls. This is the third one this year, but we don't actually have the schedule, and one of the brothers from the education committee, that was one of the big things he was suggesting. The second thing, real quick, it would be good for you to link up with Brother Rafiq. Can you raise your hand, please? He's in charge of, he's the chairman of the Economic Development Committee. So they got a lot of things going on. So that would be good for y'all to touch base, inshallah, Sister Sharifa.
I'm not saying no, but my question is, does the Masjid have a projected date for us to have a conference on foster care and adoption? Preferably before the children go back to school.
No. But you can help with that if you want to say something else.
No, I plan to help with that. I just signed up for the I guess it's a newsletter for the Masjid, so inshallah something's going to be coming to me, because this meeting was a surprise for me. This meeting was a surprise for me, but I just think that we have to get this going, because our community needs to know. Our community needs to know what we have to do take care of our children instead of other people taking care of our children. It's our duty as Muslims to take care of Muslim children. They're not technically they're in need. You know, they're coming from dysfunctional families, and we want to keep them within our own community. So, well, you already know my so I don't have any problem giving out my phone number. I don't answer the phone often. I have young children and they text. So they got me in the habit of text. So I don't have a problem with the text. I actually have 1,000 texts in my phone. But I have no problem with the text. I'll give you my phone number right now.
They got to put it all out like every day. Yeah, we said they want to get
I'm Sister Shoshana. I want to just touch base on some things I know the brother has spoke about mannerism coming to July. I think our community lacks mannerism as a whole. Within the household, it starts in the household. A lot of times we are voicing our opinion about issues, but we're not really addressing our homes. And at the end of the day, once the child leaves the home, they're a representation of you. So, as a whole, I think that the community lacks mannerism. They lack the mannerism of respect for their elders. They are speaking out of ignorance. We as adults sometimes speak out of ignorance. So I think that if we educate ourselves as an adults to teach our youth in our homes, we can start to see some change on the outside. So one of the suggestions I was thinking of is, I know like the town hall cards, maybe we should on every Friday maybe print some mannerism cards, whereas though that each Friday someone's getting a card with some kind of mannerism. This week, the mannerism topic is on, Jumu'ah. List the mannerisms of it, so that we can educate them in that form. If they're not looking for the information or the knowledge and seeking the knowledge, when they come, maybe that's something you can put that in their hand as they're exiting or coming in. So I think too, our communities lack sources for the community, not just on social platforms, but you have an older community that aren't familiar or tech savvy with those types of things. So we don't have enough committees where people are stepping up and being able to address our concerns. There's a lot of our elders are lacking help with the basic needs and necessities. We have our elders who are handicapped, and nobody helps them. Nobody takes care of them. They don't have the financial stability to even have the bare necessities in our community, in the Delaware Valley. So we really have a lot more to do within our own community, not, just within our households. I think that if we address our households first, we can see change on the outside.
And before Sister Shafiqa, just a quick plug. The Majlis Ash-Shura, we did publish a book that's on Amazon, Reference to Etiquette, Sex Education in Islam, Upholding Our Values and Traditions. And so you can get on Amazon, I believe it's $12.95. The proceeds on the internet sales go to the Majlis coffers, if you want to say, the general fund. And in that book, we get into khadwa, seclusion, we get into hubble and bustle, the lowering the gaze, and we get into maturity and what is puberty and all that kind of stuff. So it gets into some etiquette type stuff, inshallah. Shafiqa?
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question to the panel. I was at the first town meeting and we came up with a lot of different issues, and one of them was youth. And after that there was another meeting with the youth, and the youth was supposed to have a meeting. I would just like to have an update on where we're at with that, or if there's some more going back to the table to try to help move that forward.
And I'm gonna give Imam Dean to respond to that because he was involved in that. I don't know if Lisa still wants to say something. Sister Rahima, real quick, please.
Real quick, I just love this, and I was listening to Imam Amin Muhammad from Atlantic City, and they're having a unity weekend, but I know we need one too. So I'm just putting a plug in because I'm gonna go down and see exactly how they're doing it and what they're doing, and hope that we can do one right here in Philadelphia. Because no matter who you follow Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam first. And then if you have Maliki school of thought, if you have any school of thought, it doesn't matter. As long as the school of thought is Quran and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Excellent suggestion for Unity Day. I'm going to give the microphone to Nisa want to say something, and then Sister Dean will respond to Sister Shafiqa's update.
Hey, yo, did you hear what this brother said? Brother, what's your name in the red bag?
Jabril.
Brother Jabril. Did you hear what he said? I don't want us to lose that. He said, we need to have curbside cookbooks, curbside talks, right? We always have in Juma curbs, we have cookbooks at Independence Hall and City Hall. We need to have a curbside Juma, a curbside cookbook. Right? What do y'all think about that? Going right to where the problems are, go right to where the problems are, and we have Juma right there. Or we have cookbook talks right where the problems are. I think that's a brilliant idea, Brother Jabril. I don't want that to get lost.
Good point, good point. Imam Sister Dean. Again, Sister Shafiqa asked in reference to an update in reference to the youth from a previous town hall meeting.
Yeah, so inshallah, really, we just want you all to stay with us because June and July is going to be very busy for the Majlis Ash-Shura. Okay, for the town hall, we're setting it up now with our youth, our young people, and we're still meeting with them every Saturday. So we're having a town hall with the young people, but more so important too, was just Sharika said about the foster care. Right, we got to address what's going on with our children being taken. Right, our children being taken into homes of non-conscious Muslims, how they're being treated and all. So we definitely want to deal with that. So inshallah, we're meeting with the Emir, and in June and July, it's going to be very, 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 very busy for the Muslim community. The other sister that spoke about the adab and the mannerisms and getting the card out, and also talking about our seniors, we want to ask if that sister can get on board. She can come on with the women's committee, with the Majlis Ash-Shura, right? Because we can always have great ideas and everything else, but somebody got to push them. We need help from you all, right? We need you all to help. We need you all. We need all hands on deck. We in a May Day right now, right? May Day is an international distress call, and we are in a May Day in this city, right? A lot of things have to be addressed. We talked about it this morning, just with the zakat, right? We in the fourth biggest city in the country. That's what they tell us all the time. But the houses on the dirtiest block is $400,000, right? So we're the fourth biggest city in the country. 45% of the people live below the poverty level. 27% of the people living in deep poverty. Share sales amount to $168 million a year, right? Taking great-grandma's house because she owed $3,000, right? We in a whole May Day. And so we need all hands on deck, June, July, and August. You're going to see and hear from the Majlis Ash-Shura like you never did before, right? I'm telling you right now, June, July, and August. We got a lot of great things planned, and we need all you on deck. Brother Yasser and Brother Afiq is going to put the calendar out. You say one thing, Brother Afiq is writing it down right now. June, July, and August, you're going to see us. All right, so we just stay tuned.
This is the book right here. Just give me 10. We do have it here, a few of them, $10, inshallah. Say something right for the
Yeah, just real quick, in regards to what Imam Shafiq was saying, we're in the process, just to give you some specifics. We've been having some discussions with two particular young brothers right now. One is working on developing an overall youth activity approach for citywide. So that's being developed. Because I like to give you specifics so you can measure. So that's being done right now as we speak. speak. So he's working on that, number one. Number two, we have another young brother who's developing a drone flying training program. So he's putting that together. So we have two potential programs that are going to be made available to the Muslim community in the future, just like Imam Sutradeen was saying. We're putting all that together. What we're going to need is that the imams will volunteer their masjid to host a particular activity on a particular night or over the weekend and so forth. So those are some of the specifics. So we have a drone flying program that's being developed and a chess club that's being developed. And so all of those things will be made available to our young men as well as our young women.
Brother Alvin, make sure you get this brother on camera. Brother looks cool, man. His glasses.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Abdullah. I'm the Amir of Majlis Ash-Shura in South Philadelphia. I'm also the Amir of our Hanafi Haven, Inc. We do a lot of programs. Maybe y'all never heard of it and stuff like that. It might be like that. But I want to just put it right there because my community is mainly made up of immigrants, right? And they are illegal immigrants. And it took me 4 years to educate them about the plight of the African American community because they come to our communities and they disrespect us. They don't know nothing about us. They come, they exploit us, they discriminate against us, all of the above that they do to us. And we also is guilty of that because we don't educate them. We don't educate them people how because of the civil rights became the immigration rights also we tagged on to it. We don't say nothing. So I want to work with you that you go and educate your people so they can come and work with us, right? Instead of looking at us because when they saw us, they said African American brothers none of this. They was really upset. I know you probably heard about it because they call us Asian Town. I'm in ground zero. This is what I deal with all the time. So on that note, I got a lot of issues because I'm from South Philly, right? And I represent, and I'm in ground zero, and I put in the work, brothers who know me. But you, I definitely want to because that's how we gonna get strong. If we unite with our brothers internationally, you see what I'm saying? We gonna get more stronger, we'll be more better, and these people cannot use you or me as buffers against each other because that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. So I want to, say that. Also, I represent the 345, a part of the, email from Atlantic City and things of that nature. The programs that we put together, we constantly put together. Always at Masjid Muhammad, a lot of other places and stuff like that. So I just want to, let y'all brothers know that, inshallah, and inshallah we can talk about that. Assalamu alaikum.
Yahya, he would say he's going to go through the book and share inshallah.
So one of the things that I have been doing for the last 30 years, and I just had help for maybe 2 years from Imam Sutradeen. We need a cemetery. See, everybody in here is going to die. Where are they going to bury you at? They're going to bury you amongst the non-Muslims? See, this is what's going to happen. Again, 30 years for me. I've been around for a long time. We cannot keep going back to 1319 what it was then. Because it was around then. So we have to go forward. Nobody. We don't have a cemetery. Nobody. We have parts of the cemetery. Those things, we need to be buried in our own cemetery. Everybody talk about what's happening right now. What's going to happen then? You get buried with the non-Muslim, just like you hear all this noise and music from these young people in these cars and these houses. You hear that in the grave also. You will hear that in the grave. So one brother mentioned that there's no more jokes. We still do jokes. We still go around and visit people. We still go to the hospitals.
We still look out for some. We don't have enough people to help us to do all of this. So everybody that's here, try to make some effort on where are you going to go when you die. I don't want to be buried with an I don't. And that's been my thrust. Again, 30 years I've been trying to make it that people understand we need a cemetery. All these other things we need too. I mean, everybody has good ideas, but where are you going to be buried? I mean, it's appalling to me. Every time I do a janaza and go to the cemetery announcement, we got a section here and a section there. Why can't we have our own whole cemetery? Huh? So everybody need to think about that. Put that into your social media. Put that into your heart. We need our own cemetery. And the only way are we going to get it is by doing things collectively. Nobody has spoken about a cemetery, not in this city, other than Imam Sujuddin. We cooperated 2 years ago about getting a cemetery. And it's here. I did the research 10 years ago because they told me you can't have a new cemetery in Philadelphia. They lied. These council people, those committee leaders, all those people, they just lied about this for a cemetery for us. Everybody, every ethnicity got a cemetery or even a part of the cemetery. We don't want no part of it. Don't keep giving us crumbs. So let us try to make our wholehearted effort for cemetery.
You're going to go to Bashir and we need to go to the Director of Muslim Engagement.
I actually want to respond to the Amir. Absolutely, we need to work on that. I've been working on my community about African American culture, or actually American culture, not just African American culture, American culture itself versus our own culture. Because there's 1.5 ethnicities in the Asian culture. And there's a lot of them in South Philadelphia. I know about the situation in South Philadelphia. I started with South Philadelphia High School. Also, not just that I'm actually the president of the Asian American Civic Association in Delaware County in Greater Philadelphia. So we're working on those issues with amongst our own community into sharing other communities. Absolutely, brother. I will definitely want to work with you. In South Philadelphia, it's ground zero. I know about the situation down there, starting from the South Philadelphia High School rioting to all these other things. Adults High School is another issue. But I definitely want to work with you. We'll get together.
And just a little promo too, the Majlis, we do interviews every so often with some influential people. And for June, we did an interview with Imam Bashir. So if you go to the Majlis website, you'll see the interviews, majlis.com. Again, KHILLIMHALIS.com. So now I'm going to introduce Dr. Quaiser Abdullah, who is the current, or the new, I should say, Director of Muslim Engagement for the City of Philadelphia. And so I'm going to let this.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Imams. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Imam Fareed just set me up and put me up front here, so it means I'm speaking for a bit longer than I anticipated speaking, inshallah. So, first of all, as Brother Yahya mentioned, I work with the Office of Muslim Engagement for the City of Philadelphia. what does that mean in general? It means that my office, the task is really to make the resources of the city accessible to the Muslim community in Philadelphia. That is literally what we are here to do. Make the resources of the city of Philadelphia available to the Muslim residents of Philadelphia. That also means that we are looking at the overall challenges that the Muslim community has and figuring out ways to address those challenges. Things that we've started dealing with already. So as Imam Yahya just mentioned, the cemetery. Just this past week, Imam Yahya, somebody came and was asking about what are we going to do about getting a Muslim cemetery in Philadelphia. So those are things that are coming across the desk of the Office of Muslim Engagement, and we are committed, I'm saying we are, so there are other people in the office right now, that we are committed to working on presently to make sure those things happen. One of the things that we know that is impacting the community, and Imam Suchuddin has said this a number of times, and he often mentions this, right? And Brother Rafiq touched on this often. The economics of the Muslims in Philadelphia, we need to absolutely make sure that Muslims who want to start business or who have businesses, that they're accessing the resources to make their businesses sustainable and vibrant. That is absolutely a part of one of the goals of the Office of Muslim Engagement. In terms of the next thing that I'm going to do, starting in June, my goal, there are over 72 masjids in Philadelphia. My goal is by the end of July to visit every single masjid in the city of Philadelphia between June and July. So I'll be on the road for most, I'll be on the road for most of June and July doing that. Because there's no way that we can talk about the state of the Muslims of the city of Philadelphia without actually visiting the places that are the center of the communities. As disconnected or as disparate or as separate as we often say they are, the fact of the matter is that they are there, they are functioning, and they're still the home base for many of the Muslims in the city of Philadelphia. Even though we know that many Muslims aren't affiliated, or I shouldn't say many Muslims, even though we know that some Muslims aren't affiliated with masjids, that they don't have accountability to masjid communities, we still have to start with the masjids, 100%. So imams who are here, if I don't have your contact information, please make sure that I have your contact information before I leave here today, because I need to come visit your masjid. When I come, we're going to speak for an hour, just over an hour, hear what the needs are of the community, and make sure that those needs collectively get addressed after I get all of this data together. And then there's some other things that we're going to be working on. My goal is not to reinvent the wheel. I am not here to duplicate work that the Majlis is doing. I am here to elevate that, platform it, and make sure that it's successful as best as I can, or support its success. Not to make sure that it's successful as though I have the power to do that, but to support the success of all of the efforts of the Majlis Ash-Shura. Because whatever happens, the Majlis Ash-Shura has been functioning in the city of Philadelphia for well over 30 years. Meeting consistently for over 30 years. Say what we want to say, that is an accomplishment. That is something significant, and it's something that needs to be understood, needs to be held up, and really needs, so I'm glad that the brother who commended, brother Abdullah, when he commended the Majlis Ash-Shura for the activities and for the work that it's doing, I think say what we want to say, that is something that we do need to acknowledge and recognize. Right? So that's who I am, and I see Yashra coming, so that means my time is up. That's who I am, that's what I do. Anyone who wants to contact me, muslim.engage@phila.gov. muslim.engage@phila.gov. If you have my personal email address, that's fine, that's just more difficult to spell out, but muslim.engage@phila.gov, that comes directly to me. So any needs of the community, we have that. Coming out in the Majlis newsletter, you'll also see links to issues that you want to submit to the city of Philadelphia. As a Muslim business owner, as a Muslim resident, you'll see a link that you can submit, that comes directly to me. You'll see that we're getting information on the needs of the Muslim community, that comes directly to me. So all of these things are things that we are looking to do. I've only been in the position for under 60 days. 60 days. So have a bit of rahmah in this moment. I've been in a position for 60 days, but inshallah, we have a lot of work to do, and hopefully we're able to meet some of these goals, working together to make some of these things happen. So shukran. If there are any questions, you can ask me after the session, inshallah. Unless there's one now.
So before we get to Councilman Jeffery Young Jr., just want to read real quick with some of the stuff that made in the newsletter, because it was a good suggestion from our brother Rafiq that we list some of the things we've been involved in the Majlis recently. And so I'm just reading from the beginning. It's a bullet form. The Moon Sighting Committee, because of course those who don't know, we as Muslims, our time is regulated by the lunar calendar. The time is regulated by the lunar calendar. So the Moon Sighting Committee continues to track the moon every month for over 3 decades. We revamped our bylaws in 2022. We revamped our website in 2022. The E Committee hosted a fundraiser for the E at Kingston Rec Center in 2022. We started Telegram, that's similar to WhatsApp, social media group, which is open to any Muslim in 2022. The Da'wah Committee partnered with Masjid Medina for a joint event in 2022. We collaborated with Black Muslim United for a Better Philadelphia, rallying and marching in the northwest section of Philadelphia along with local police, calling for action against gun violence in 2022. We condensed the limit of our monthly general meetings in 2022. You can always see that on the website where we're going to go next. We obtained a corporate office in 2023. We interviewed 8 influential community members in 2023. We started a monthly newsletter, e-newsletter in 2023. The Education Committee hosted our Islamic School Fair Expo at the Philadelphia School District in 2023, and you can look forward to seeing another one inshallah coming soon. We started an Economic Development Committee in 2023. The brother mentioned earlier, and just want to say about the Economic Development Committee real quick, they researched and put out information in reference to the dates that are coming from or owned by Israeli governments, company, what have you, in order to boycott that, those purchases from those companies. Also, we helped to sponsor the Halal Food Festival in Phoenixville, PA in 2023. We published a book, as I mentioned earlier, in 2023, titled Education in Islam, available on Amazon. We partnered with CARE, Council of American Islamic Relations, to have a medical professional for their 2024 banquet in Springfield, PA. We hosted 2 town halls, of course this is the 3rd, and so forth and so forth. So that's just give you a quick little background on some of the things we've been involved in the last couple of years. And you can always sign up for the newsletter, phillymajlis.com. And I'm going to welcome in Councilman Jeffery Young Jr., who is the councilman for this district, inshallah. Welcome.
Thank you, Assalamu alaikum. First, I want to thank Majlis Ash-Shura for allowing me to be here today. Thank you to allow me to be here today to speak to you and to learn about your issues in your community.
And so as I mentioned, my name is Jeffery Young. I am the council member for the 5th Council District here in the city of Philadelphia. I represent North Philadelphia, Center City, Fishtown, and so that my district spans from Hunting Park on the east side of Broad Street down to Spring Garden. On the west side of Broad Street, we go from Lehigh Avenue all the way down to Rittenhouse Square. So we are in the core of the city, representing the majority of North Philadelphia and representing a large Muslim population in this city. I'm here to just listen and learn about the issues of your community. I've heard a few today that I'll be able to take back down to City Hall with me to put policy into action, is what I like to say. One thing that I've heard is that there is a disconnect between the Muslim community and the resources that are available to you to help you make your communities the best that it can be. One thing that we can do as a city council, particularly my office, is we offer what's called the Activities Funds Grant. This grant is to any organization, any nonprofit organization that has causes or issues dealing with the youth or community empowerment. And these are grants that are up to $9,000. It's a simple application to apply for. And this is a yearly grant. Every year, City Council has the ability to give out these grants for community organizations. So if you're a small organization and you have some things that you're doing throughout the summers, this grant is available for you. Just to give a little background about myself, for folks in this room who do not know me, I'm a real estate attorney by trade. I'm a partner at a law firm called Legis Group, where I practice zoning, real estate, commercial law, and a few other things. I've been involved in city government and in my community for almost 20 years now. I started out as a high school intern working for the former Councilman Clark, and just stayed involved in the community because I want to see my community do better. Being raised in North Philadelphia, we see all the issues that are pervasive, that I heard that word earlier today, that are pervasive in our communities. And we have to take a stand. We have to step up to be leaders. I could have stayed at my law firm, making, a good, decent living, but my conscience and my soul would not allow me to do that when my nephew was murdered 2 years ago. And because of the amount of folks at his janazah, we had to take him outside to prayer because there was that many people there. And that made me realize that there are people in this city who care, and we really have to step up and really talk about what the real issues are in our community, particularly as a Black community as well. We have to come together because those bullets don't know your name, they don't know your religion, they don't know anything about you when they're coming toward you. And so we have to stick together to make sure that our communities get the resources we need because, again, we're all going to the same schools, we're all going to the same places to shop, to eat, to live. And so we have to make sure that we are together and moving forward as one city. Our school district, someone mentioned foster care earlier today. At our traditional public schools, the neighborhood schools, between 30 and 40% of every student at that school is in foster care, right? And so that's a number that we really have to engage. We really have to put more resources to that because the conditions of our school come from students who aren't in places where they are being loved. And if we can place children in loving environments, particularly what the sister was saying earlier, if you place them in an environment that is conducive to them, right, that's going to show them the right way, show them love, then we aren't going to have these issues that we're having in our communities. And so as the council member, I've only been in city council for about 4 months now, but the issues that are on the topics of discussion are things that I've been talking about since day one on city council and prior to city council. I've been a very loud voice when it comes to youth gun violence in our city. I held our first town hall at the Leah Core Center was on youth gun violence. Poverty issues. I represent North Philadelphia. I represent some of the most challenged people in this city. But at the same time, I represent Grand House Square, which is literally the most wealthiest people in this city. So there is a dynamic that I see that our communities are disconnected from the wealth of this city. And so we have to bridge that gap. That is my job to help you all bridge that gap to get those resources so our communities can strive. Because I see what the other side is, and our communities, our children need to be able to see that there are other things to do, that there are other activities, that there are careers that they can pursue in order to achieve greatness in their lives. And so as a newly elected official, that is my job to help show these youth, these young folks, that there is a path out of this poverty that you may be experiencing. There is a path out of just the ills of society if you put your mind to it, and if you want to work hard to continue to prosper in life. So that is why I am here. That's why I ran for city council, to show our communities that there are other ways to live, and there are ways to be successful in our city and in our society as a whole. And so I'm honored to be here, just listening to your issues and your questions. And again, I'm going to take these back to City Hall with me to turn those issues into policy actions. So thank you again for having me. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Councilman. And just to say real quick before we reintroduce Brother Mutaki Thomas, again with the Director of Muslim Engagement, that's one of the things the Majlis has done. We were sitting down with all the mayoral candidates we had a few issues. Imam Suchuddin mentioned one of them earlier about sheriff cells, but another one was the Office of Islamic Affairs. And so, of course, along with other groups and other people behind the scenes, we want to get it done, alhamdulillah. So I want to say that real quick, and Brother Mutaki.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Eli Mutaki Thomas. I've been affiliated with the Majlis Ash-Shura since I was in college in 1997, when I was MSA president at Temple University. I've been attending meetings for a long time. I want to thank the imams for their perseverance and the example and dedication that they and their families have shown us, the Philadelphia Muslim community. So I'm the assistant chairman of the education committee of the Majlis Ash-Shura. I have about 20 years experience as a teacher. We have a great committee of people, educators, and some other professionals working with us. We hosted our first Islamic school fair and expo at the Philadelphia School District building last year on August 20th. The purpose of the expo is to first increase the influence and the effects of the Muslim schools in Philadelphia. We see the importance for us to have more Muslim schools and stronger Muslim schools that can serve everybody, not just the Muslims, right? Our dream, our goal, our vision our hope is that the Muslim schools will be the natural alternative to everyone. But we have to work together to strengthen those schools. There are a lot of things we need to do. First of all, amongst ourselves, we need to support our schools, right? Volunteer there, send our money there, even if we don't have a blood child in that school. We have all our children in those schools. So we need to support them. And also, there's a lot of things that need to be done legislatively, right? The money can follow the child. That's something we can push for. We talk about that. I leave that to people who know more about that, like Imam Suchuddin and these other people in these committees, the political people. I leave that to them. But in Florida, I have a friend who's a consultant, a good friend of mine. He owns his own online charter school. It's an Islamic charter school called Bayan Academy. Okay, my friend, he owns Bayan Academy, and he's a consultant, an Islamic education consultant all over the country. When he consulted with the people in Florida, an Islamic school there, he had to turn down money. He said, "You're paying me too much." He said, I can't in good conscience accept all this money, because in Florida, the money follows the child. The Islamic school there, he said, is like a $25 million campus or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying these are some of the things that may be available to us in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, in the Delaware Valley. Inshallah, we have our second annual Islamic School Fair and Expo coming up in July. Sunday, July 21st. Again, inshallah, it'll be at the School District Building, 440 North Broad Street. We hope that you all will be there. You'll start seeing the marketing coming out for that. We have the flyers, there'll be digital, there'll be hard copies in the Masjid online. It's a free event open to everyone, Muslims and non-Muslims. We welcome everybody to come and learn about the schools that will be represented there. Schools that are Islamic, like the Islamic Institute of Chester, in Chester. Claire Muhammad School will be represented there. Many Islamic schools will be there, and also, like, for example, Brother Yasser did a talk last year about his book, Sexual Education in Islam. I know that, some of us might have questions about, well, how does that work, right? Well, the brother did a talk last year, mashallah, a really nice talk that people really enjoyed. And he talked about, what does that mean? Sexual education in Islam. So, we have a lot of things like that, and inshallah, it should be a great day, to get a lot of information for yourself, for your families, and help a great cause, right? Help a great cause of supporting Islamic schools, and we also support the Muslim students in non-Muslim schools. In March, we had an event called Ramadan and Beyond, right? Ramadan and Beyond, where we position ourselves to educate the educators. Right, as an educator in a non-Muslim school, I know every year during Ramadan, the numbers of those who say they're Muslim goes up 10 times. Right? All the kids, oh, I'm Muslim, I gotta wear this. I gotta wear this. You know what I mean? Forget the uniform. I gotta pray up. Yeah, I gotta pray right now. You know what I'm saying? All these things come up, and the educators, they don't know how to handle it. They get overwhelmed. So we said, we want to position ourselves to be that go-to for those who have questions. So we educate the educators. We partnered with the school district's Office of Diversity. Mashallah, they joined us. The director of the office, came, and the assistant director came and spent time with us. So this is what we're doing to increase and strengthen Islamic education in Philadelphia. Assalamu alaikum.
So, shukran for that, Imam Jury, and then Imam Sajidin. And just to remind everybody, we said until 4, so just keep that on.
So, with our time, that means 5.
So, talking about the youth and looking at this today, we didn't spend too much time on youth violence, right? But that, we all know that's a huge issue in the city right now. It's a huge issue in just about every major city right now, right? The one thing I always talk about, but we don't talk about it as a whole in the Muslim community, is our kids do everything all the other kids do, right? They share a collective consciousness when it comes to music, when it comes to their little social circles, right? And so we never spend time talking about getting in the way of this music that they listen to. We never spend time talking about that. And so while we're trying to do one thing, they're still getting reinforcement from another place. And like Sister Marina says, when the kids are studying, she tried to slide in and try to intervene and make sure they got the right guidance when they study. We don't intervene in the music. So we are not going to make headway if we don't get in the way of this music. They live by this music. It's their culture. So we are fools if we think we're going to make some progress if we don't try to stop that too. And nobody's talking about it. We talk about everything else. We have to, let me tell you something. It's not an accident that they have the music that they have, right? It's pre-selected for them. And we know this. That music has been designed to do specifically what it's doing now. And there was a plan. Music executives invested in private prisons in the 90s. So they used the music to steer kids to do violent acts so they can fill up the private prisons. And it worked. And it's still working. So we want some progress. We got to start looking in that direction too. We can't keep talking about all these other things and the kids are still following the same plan. What are we going to do with that? We have to start looking at that and seriously get in the way of that.
Just want to say, just briefly, off of the Education Committee, and even what Ian Jerry is saying. Yesterday, every Saturday, we do a financial literacy workshop and a generational wealth workshop at our Masjid, right? We teach real estate, credit repair, entrepreneurship, how to open up your own business, right? Because our motto is, right, if I, got my credit is fixed, I got me a nice little house, I got me my nice little business, I got me a family at home, I'm not going to nobody to jail, I'm going home that night. I'm not going to jail nowhere. Now, one of the things yesterday that we did in that Saturday class is that we expanded it a little bit and we started doing a little cursive class, right? Writing cursive. And it's so important, right? When they saw us writing cursive and they saw us doing multiplication and division, right? They felt so empowered, right? It was 22, 21, 16. It was like, I never wrote that before. I said it's like Arabic. It's like connecting the letters together. And when they saw that cursive, brothers, I'm telling you, they felt so empowered. Right, like they saw a ghost or something, like they never seen nothing like that in their life before. And what I told them, I said, don't feel bad about it, because when they took cursive out of the schools, you was only 1 year old, you was only 2 years old. It wasn't your fault. It was our fault. And we allowed them to take cursive away from our children. It's like modern day slavery again, right? Now you can't read, now you can't write, now you can't add. And if you can't read, if you can't write, if you can't add, of course you're gonna be mad. So we gotta change that narrative, man. I'm pushing for that, to bring cursive back to our school system, to teach our children. We're going to circulate a petition, and I want everybody to sign it that we want to bring cursive back to the school system. They faked this out, talking about Y's and Z's. You're not gonna never use Y's and Z's nowhere. Y's and Z's don't count money, right? So we got to bring back cursive, because almost 80% of the children in the Philadelphia school district are not on the proper reading level. So we got to bring back cursive, we got to bring back reading, we got to bring back basic math, like the sister said, going back to the basics. Adding, multiplication, division, right? Signing and writing your name. Because I just talked to the councilman up here, right? We got the councilman here, and me, I'm the political guy with the Muslim League of Voters, right? And so I've been the general president of the Muslim League of Voters for over 30 years. And what happens is we circulate petitions, right, to try to get people on the ballot, and the judge throws the petitions out because there's no signature. The person print and print. When it says print and sign, right? So they can't sign. So we did a disjustice, like the brother said. We did never ask for forgiveness. We dropped the ball on these young people, and we got to pick the ball back up, because I just witnessed it yesterday along with my witness. When they witnessed that cursing, when they witnessed that multiplication and that division, they felt so good, man, because I'm trying to tell you, that's going to empower them. We got to bring it back. I wanted to mention that. That's going to be the mission that we want to be on, to bring back cursive, to bring back this math and everything to our school district.
First, I want to commend Councilman Young, because most politicians, and you know I'm hard on politicians, most politicians, they pop in and they pop out. And they come in, they're here, and then they go. But you sat here this whole time, and I commend you for that. But I would like to offer a suggestion just to the community about this issue of violence. And one thing we can do, the Quran has an answer. And the Quran always deals at the root of problems. One of the problems in our society is, well, first let me ask you this. Who knows, what is an orphan in Islam? Who's considered an orphan? Speak up. If the father is gone, you're considered an orphan. We have a lot of virtual orphans in the society. How does the Quran tell us to deal with orphans? Somebody? Kindly take them under your wing when they're young. When you do that, you buy my ice cream cone. You throw the football with him. Right? You pat him on his head. You say hi to him. You speak to him. Then when you see Johnny with a gun, you would say, Johnny, what are you doing? Come here, let me talk to you. Come here, Johnny. And then Johnny knows that you're Brother Kareem, who buys my ice cream cone. You're Mr. Johnson, who throws the ball around with him. Now you can talk to him. We can't talk to him if you never spoke to him before. If you never said hi, if you never bought him an ice cream cone, never in the store, he's short money, you give him money. The Quran has the answer. It tells you, treat these orphans kindly. Otherwise, right, whenever you don't follow something in the Quran, there's a punishment. Right? The punishment is, if you don't treat them kindly, they're going to tear the village apart. So let's treat the orphans kindly.
That's a really good point, man. And this is not just a quick thing before I get to the brother of the red and black family clown. Is that Imam Abu Hanifa, one of the great scholars in Islam, he had a neighbor, and this young man, he will always keep saying, no one cares about me. He would get drunk. This is, of course, in Muslim society. He would get drunk, and he would just scream, nobody cares about me, nobody cares about me. So he got locked up one day, and Imam Abu Hanifa found out, and he actually paid his, I guess, bill or whatever. And he said, why would you do that for me? I ain't nobody. He said, just remember, people do care about you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. What the brother said about the mother tongue music, that's the mother tongue. I was with a unit, Dar es Salaam, Abdullah Akbar. I was with another unit called the Children of Adam's Band, Baba Kenya. And I had grandchildren, young grandchildren. I'm 78, inshallah. I'm on my way out. They're coming in. I owe them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has stated on the tongue of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that the best thing that He's given a human being, man, is intellect. So the INTELL tells me that it's not without. It's something that's in me. Common sense. Common sense. And when I approach this path of Islam and a common sense code, man, my resolve is more the results are more positive. What I would like to offer is educational music classes for the young. Because they don't want to fight, really, they want to sing and dance like we used to do in the corner. We used to stand on the corner and doo-wop, and everybody would stop what they was doing if the note was right. You see, we have to get back to basics like everybody has been saying. What is the basics? Our nature, not my religion. My nature is Islam. My nature is Islam. So, once we begin to walk forward, looking backwards, alhamdulillah, we'll find that some of these things that seem to be dire are not really that dire, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has prepared us for this day. He has prepared us for That's why we say that we're Muslims. So, they have a saying, and the saying that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. So, if we just do the assignment, I don't care where you are, status high or low, this thing can be done.
Shukran for that. We're going to ask that you be very, very brief for everyone after this issue.
Sorry, I just wanted to bring to the attention of the Muslims, there's an app on the Play Store and the App Store called No Thanks. And this app lets us know which products and companies are supporting this genocide on our brothers and sisters in Gaza. So in some small way, even though, you know, we could not support the people who are supporting the killing of our women and children. All right, it's called No Thanks. And it's, you can scan the products in the market. You can look at the list and see who's on the list. You know, some companies that we use and items we purchase are on this list. And we don't want to support these people. Sorry.
It's on the Google App Store. No thanks. No thanks. Sister Sharita, really brief.
I just want to say that if you have a family member who is struggling with serious issues like maybe mental health or substance abuse, you've probably already been taking care of these family members out of your pocket. Please do not let anyone direct you to the welfare office. If you get welfare for that child, your family will not be eligible for foster care payments. Okay? And what happens is, a lot of times, you end up maybe with foster care first, and then push comes to shove, you end up adopting those children. Under no circumstances do you go to the welfare office. When you go to the welfare office and get those few dollars, you have knocked your entire family out of the box. And if you, like I said before, if you gotta call me, the director of the foster care adoption support group stressed that to me. Do not get welfare. Welfare comes from Department of Public Welfare. It is not foster care. Just need to say that.
Shukran for that. We're going to ask Brother Rafiq to say a few words, and then we're going to go to Imam Fareed to close out, inshallah. So, Sister Rahima just informed us that Crystal Quaiser, that's one of the groups right there that supports the Israeli genocide. Brother Rafiq, I'll say just a couple minutes, and then get to Imam Fareed to kind of close us out, see if we can close it.
Yeah, so real quick, there was a discussion that was brought up regarding burial site. I just want to let you know that we are in discussions with the Pennsylvania Commission on Real Estate that oversees all real estate in the state of Pennsylvania, as well as burial sites and cemeteries. So we're in the process of doing that and connecting them with a Black or African American Muslim-run funeral home to see if they'll agree to oversee that initiative. So we're doing that. The last thing is that the brother left, the mayor left, talking about trying to talk with some of the immigrant and indigenous community. We've been having discussions since November, bridging the gap between the indigenous and the immigrant community, and we're close to finalizing a document that's going to have an agreed upon agenda that we're going to ask the various different leadership in the region to sign off on.
Alhamdulillah, again, Brother Rafiq is the chairman of the Economic Development Committee. We got to go to Imam Fareed to say the last comments and close out.
Inshallah, assalamu alaikum. Thank you for all your input, inshallah, to Sharifa. The issue of the youth and the foster care and adoption is very, very important. And we wanted to include that in the conversation we have today, but we actually want to bring a format that you're asking for, that we actually direct that as the main issue of topic that's going to be there. One of the things that was mentioned in the meeting was that it wasn't a drawing card. If you just say it was just for foster care and adoption only, a lot of the Muslims wouldn't respond to the process. So we want to respond based upon what is the crisis of the Muslim community, and then within that context, bring that forward. But I'd like to also read these ayahs to you. This is from Surah Al-Baqarah in verse 219 and 220. So Allah says, they ask you concerning intoxicants and games of chance, saying both of them is a great sin, and both are harmful too. And they have some uses for people, but the sin inherent in them is even more serious than their usefulness. They ask you how much they should spend in the way of Allah. Say the surplus, what you can spare after spending on your basic requirements. Thus does Allah make things clear, His commandments, so that you may reflect. Upon this world and the hereafter, and they ask you concerning the orphans. Say, to set their affairs right, keeping in view the promotion of their welfare, is an act of great virtue. If you intermix with them, they are, after all, your brethren, and Allah knows the wrongdoers from the right doers. And if Allah had so willed, He would certainly have made matters difficult for you. Verily Allah is almighty and all wise. The Prophet Muhammad SAW, he was talking one day and he said that if you actually see the orphan, and when you see the orphan, you would just rub your hands through their hair, so that they would know that someone had compassion and care for them. And he also said that the one who helps the orphan and also takes them in, he says they will be in Jannah like this with him. So it's a very serious matter. And one of the stories, famous stories that comes from the Prophet of Islam and his Sahabas is about Abu Darda. Abu Darda was someone that they knew. He had great wealth. He had great wealth. He had what they call like big gardens. We would say farmlands. And he had farmlands that was had over more than 500 date palm trees. And so there was an orphan whose father passed away, and the orphan was trying to get his land together. So he was trying to build a fence. He's trying to build a fence around his property so that his animals wouldn't run off in the desert and things like that on him. And so he went to the next door neighbor because there was a big date palm tree that was partly on his property and also on the property of the man next door that owned the tree. So the young man went to the little boy, the orphan, went to the neighbor and asked him, would you please give me the tree? Because when he was building the fence to try to close in his property, he couldn't do it because the tree was in the way. So he asked him, he said, would you please let me have that tree? He said, no, you can't have that tree. He said, would you please sell it to me? He said, no, I'm not selling it to you, it's my tree. So the little orphan was so distraught, he didn't have nowhere to go except to go to the Prophet Muhammad SAW. And he actually made his story known to the Prophet SAW, and the Prophet SAW knew he was an orphan. And he knew he didn't have his father there anymore. And so the Prophet told, I think it was Abu Lubaydah is the one whose name that he asked, and he didn't do it. And even though the Prophet told him, look, give him the tree. And the man, in frustration, because he couldn't believe the little young boy went to talk to the Prophet, went to the Prophet ﷺ on him about this tree. So he was really angry. He said, no, I'm not selling it to him. That's my tree. And so now the Prophet ﷺ had heard the Prophet, the one who is the greatest reminder, says to him, let the little boy have the tree. And he tells the Prophet ﷺ no. So one of the Sahabas that heard that was Abu Darda. So he went to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, if I buy the tree and then give it to the little boy, will Allah give me a tree in Jannah? Rasulullah told him yes. And so Abu Darda went to him that wouldn't sell the little boy the tree and said, listen, you know my garden that everybody knows about my garden that has over 500 trees. He says, yes. Who doesn't know that, Abu Darda? Everybody knows about your big garden. Everybody knows you have a massive garden. Nobody in Medina don't know that you have a massive garden. Everybody knows that you have it. So surely I know you have it. He says, well, listen. For that whole garden, I'll give you that whole garden for that one tree. And he couldn't believe it. So he said, everybody here is a witness. You're witnessing, you're the witness that he's telling me that he's going to give me that whole garden for this one tree. Y'all hear that, right? Everybody hear that? He said, so I'm saying, yes, I accept it. And so Abu Darda gave him that whole garden for that one tree and turned around to the little boy and told him, the tree is yours. So now you can build your fence around your property. And then he had to go to his house, he had to go back to the farm now because his family was living his family was living in the garden. There was a house built there. And so he didn't go back inside because it wasn't his anymore. He hollered from the outskirts of the garden and telling his wife, come on out. You and the children come out. And she was like, come out for what? What's going on? She said, we don't own this no more. This now belongs to Allah. Come out. This place now belongs to Allah. And so as they were leaving out, the mother looked in the pockets of the children. They had dates in their pockets. And she took the dates out of their pocket, told them, no, take the dates, leave it, don't take anything. All this belongs to Allah. And praise be to Allah. When they were in the battle, the Prophet got injured in, and Rasulullah kept asking, who's going to be with me in Jannah? All those who were dying in that battle, he was going to be with him in Jannah. So afterwards, after the battle in which he got hurt, and he started going around and looking at all the dead people that were there. Because Abu Darda asked Rasulullah, before the battle started, he says, yeah, Rasulullah, are you telling me, do I have a tree in Jannah right now? Is one there ready for me right now? He said, yes, the best parts of it is there. The one that provides the dates and everything is already there for you in abundance. And then, when the Prophet looked and saw that Abu Darda was one of the ones that was dead in that battle, he said to him, oh, Abu Darda, how many trees do you have in Jannah now? So I just said to say that it's very important, this subject about the orphans, and that's taking care of them. And that we have to see that we encourage our people in our community to deal with it in the right way. And one of the points you just made just now is very important because in our community, we have a whole bunch of people that still deal with the welfare system. And like you say, it eliminates us from having access to things we really need to do in order to grow our own system because this that Allah tells us to do saves us out of the welfare system that they have in the States for the people now. This is the process of welfare for us that we take care of our own. We bring them in, we take care of them, then they grow up and they take care of the others that's there, and therefore you have nobody that is not cared for in the Muslim community. So inshallah, we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grow us, expand us, and make us those who open our hearts to be like Abu Darda, that we are actually looking forward to what Allah has for us in the hereafter, knowing that we just passed through here, and as was said earlier, as our brother just said, he's 78. So anytime you're 78, you can't think of anything else except that you on your way back to Allah. And all of us can realize the process now because we see the youth are going, where they 12, 13, 14, 5 and 6 and 7 in the crossfire. And at the same time, they're 22, 23, 24 that's going. You don't have to wait till you're 70, 80, and 90 years old to go. They're going in all ages and all stages. So therefore, we got to do what Allah said, told us to do. Prophet said to us, live each day as though you're going to live forever. So therefore, you're always building towards that life that is forever because you know this one is not. You can't escape death. So the one that's forever is in the Akhirah and the hereafter. And he said, also live each day as though it should last. So if we know that the Akhirah is the one where everlasting life is, at the same time, this is our last day, then how much will we do today to work towards earning Allah's mercy for that forever life? Inshallah, may Allah make us all successful, make us all die except the state of Muslimun, and inshallah, that we would be those that do the work, put the effort together, as has been said earlier. It's just a matter of really tying it all together. We got to tie the parts together. And that's what our challenge is, to tie it all together. Because Allah has given us everything. And He has given us everything we need. We just really have to exercise and realize we need each other. And then put ourselves together as though we are those in need. And we have one cemented structure, one cemented body, and Allah will make us successful, inshallah. So inshallah, we'll close out.
So close out, inshallah. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming out. You have the newsletter sign up out there. You always go to the Majlis Ash-Shura's website. And I'm sorry if we didn't get to everybody. We apologize. Of course, we got the survey. There's just a few items there. If you can fill that out to the best of your ability, we'll be appreciative of that, inshallah. Allahumma alif bayna qulubina. Oh Allah, bring our hearts together. Wa aslih dhat baynina. And reconcile the differences. Wahdina subul as-salam. And guide us to ways of peace. وَنَجِّنَا مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ And deliver us from darkness into light. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shukran, jazakumullah. We also have some light refreshments out there too. Everyone is welcome.
I want to announce that filling up the Masjid is opening up a new school. Inshallah, NSA is going to be at filling up the Masjid, opening up the school, so we're trying to fundraise and do 50,000 in 50 days. So I want to invite people, inshallah, to roller skating event on Sunday, May 26th, 2024, from 12 to 2 p.m. Raise $50,000 so we can revitalize the Masjid, NSA will fill up the Masjid. Also, this Friday, we also had a fundraiser, continuing Fresh Fry that started on May 18th, and we will continue that on Friday, inshallah. The platter will be $20, and we try to raise $50,000 in 50 skateboard is going to be Golden Thunder at 1017 Woodruff Boulevard. Inshallah, stay with us, man. Stay with us. $5 for the skates, inshallah.
No, in Philly, give me some outside food. I was